So I probably go back to when I was a student. So when I was a PhD student, I often tell my own PhD students now, I remember meeting my supervisor for less than 10 hours, fewer than 10 hours in 4 years. It was during a time when there wasn't very much developmental work done with students, and we were basically left to our own devices to either sink or swim. I remember doing the first year report, and that was the only formal, if you like, assessment point or progression point. So if I moved to when I became a supervisor, I thought I was probably more hands-on than my own supervisor when I was doing my PhD, and that's probably for two reasons. One is because in my own field, it's not one where I've got a huge research team. Also because I'm fairly early in my career as a lecturer, so I haven't got my research team established. So a lot of my own research is actually in collaboration with my PhD students. So for me, I'm a bit more hands-on because if I were going to talk about the research findings or the data, I need to have a feel for the data. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a bit more hands-on. And the other thing as well, the other reason for me being hands-on is also because I'm probably quite knowledgeable about the field that I'm interested in, and so I thought it'd be quite useful if I could also kind of share some of my own knowledge with my PhD students. I must say that when I first started supervising, whilst I was hands-on and I'm still pretty hands-on, I probably started with a bit of a laissez-faire approach. So it is their project, so they should really kind of take charge with that. But as time progressed on, I think I could observe a change that I have become more interventionist, perhaps. I think one of my PhD students have described it really well, that when I first started with him, he thought I had a partnership model between the supervisor and the student. And now that he's about to finish, he feels like it's a master and slave relationship, which I think is quite amusing. But I think one of the reasons for me doing that is because there are now a lot more institutional gateways that the students have to accomplish. So they have the yearly reports where there are clear progression points. Every month we have to complete administrative process through eProg, and that can sometimes be a very good disciplining tool for students and supervisors to engage and to gauge on process. There is also this expectation, although informally, that PhD students should be actively um, disseminating their findings through publications. And as competition increases, it's much more difficult to actually get publications through high impact journals, which is the expectation. And so I think students need a lot more coaching, because I certainly remember when I was a PhD student, left on to my own devices, sometimes it can be quite unclear as to what was expected of us. So I think that probably explains why I have become a bit more interventionist more recently than when I first started.